Now, a follow up to yesterday's segment about the Department of Commerce putting out bid requests for a study on what it would cost to replace the clean energy production from our four lower Snake River hydroelectric dams. They produce anywhere from 7 to 9% of our state's total energy production based on, which study you're looking at and who you ask. Now, the Trump administration put former President Biden's plans to sort of expedite removal of those dams on hold as soon as he took office. So, talk of doing that is really off the table at this point. But taxpayers are still footing the bill for, in case you missed yesterday's episode or my article, an $800,000, again, taxpayer funded study, money that came from the 25-27 budget approved by state lawmakers to fund this Department of Commerce study. So they've got these bid requests out now. It'll be finalized next month. And they're looking to find out what really it would cost to have other clean energy production capacity if the dams were removed. Again, no plan currently underway that the dams would be removed, replaced, but we're going to spend $800,000 of Washington taxpayer money to fund this study anyway, because it was already budgeted. So here is Todd Myers with Washington Policy Center. He's the director for their Center for Energy and the Environment because they did a study in 2022. They know, as of 4 years ago anyway, what it would cost to produce that energy if the dams were removed.
Our study that we did in 2022 found that it would cost about $34 billion to replace the Snake River dams and make it so that that electricity was as reliable as it currently is. But of course, like, when is the last time a government project ever came in at cost that was expected? So you have to expect those costs to go up. Inflation since 2022 has gone up. The cost of everything has gone up. So, this is going to be an astronomical amount of money. Washington State spends about $100 to $200 million a year, depending on how you count it, on salmon recovery. $34 billion is 150 years worth of salmon recovery funding at current levels. Why would we spend $34 billion just to replace the electricity when we could use that money to improve salmon habitat across the state? It is a really bad idea for the environment and for ratepayers.
Important to note that that $34.3 billion price tag from WPC's study is just for replacing the energy. That does not account for the very cost effective and environmentally safe way of barging up that river system all the egg product that needs to get to port. Imagine if we didn't have the river system, if the dams were removed for safely transporting all of those goods along the river highway, the marine highway system. And you instead had to put all that product in the back of a semi truck. And how many more trucks that would be on our highway system, how much more that would cost, or some of that potentially being a railway expansion, additional stops along the way as those goods are moved from eastern and central Washington to western Washington port systems as well. So it's going to be a heck of a lot higher than that. And again, as WPC and Todd Myers pointed out, this is a federal decision. This is not a decision that's going to be made here in the state of Washington. And yet, you, the Washington taxpayer, are on the hook for yet another study, an $800,000 study for someone to tell us what it would cost to produce energy, other clean energy, wind, solar, battery storage components. What that would look like across the state is interesting as well. And then, of course, you also would have to have the transmission system. If you greatly expanded all of that clean energy with more wind and solar and battery storage, you don't have the transmission system in place to move that power to people who need it. So there are so many other things that are not even in that $34.5 billion price tag that WPC put out, not to mention the fact that was 4 years ago. And we've got inflation, of course, since then, right? So the cost would likely be dramatically higher.